would like to highlight another very important, let's say, concern. This is regarding the NTA, that is the National Testing Agency. Now, if you look at the education education is on the concurrent list, which is a shared responsibility of the center and the states. Yet, NEET, CUET, and the NTA-led national testing have concentrated power in Delhi. When the centralized system collapses, as evidenced by the NEET leak, Delhi takes the credit for control, but pushes the blame onto students and states. So the same coercion is visible in school funding. The system told Parliament, the centre told Parliament in financial year 24-25 that Kerala, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal received no Samagra Shiksha funds, which is roughly around 328.90 crore for Kerala, rupees 2,151 crore for Tamil Nadu, and rupees 1,745 crore for West Bengal. These funds were not released because the three states refused to sign the MOU, which is sign the PM Shri MOU, tying them to the centre's policy. Later, of course, we came to know that the funds were released for Kerala and Tamil Nadu. But the fact that the centre used this as a leverage mechanism to coerce and to force the states into signing, into accepting the policies of the central government is indicative of how the central government is actually using policy as a political tool. So we are very concerned about that also, because this money is not the central government's money, it's the people's money. And it's meant for government school children. But in this case, like I highlighted, it was used as a lever, as a leverage to force compliance. Now, for a small funding-dependent state like Meghalaya, this sets a frightening precedent. Either we agree with Delhi, or we get penalized. So this is another major concern as far as the education system is concerned in the country today. We're very concerned about the autonomy of the states to take decisions, to take policy decisions to address the needs and requirements of the system, of the education system in the state. Now, I would like to draw attention to another very important point. This is the underfunding of public education. I made reference to the NEP 2020 earlier, and this is another point that I would like to share with all of you. Now, the NEP 2020 repeats the decades-old promise to raise public education spending to 6% of GDP. The latest official figure cited in Parliament puts it at just 4.12% of GDP in 21-22. Now, the Union Budget 2024-25 then cut the Education Ministry's allocation by 7%, with higher education down 17%, and the UGC's allocation slashed by about 61%, from roughly 5,200 crore to 2,500 crore. Now, when public schools and colleges are starved, families are pushed toward private coaching. And it's very significant that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition, launched the campaign from Kota. I think all of you are familiar with Kota. That is a very famous city in Rajasthan. It is the coaching mecca in the country, and people, students go there to prepare for competitive exams, in particular your NEET and CUET, and also the GE joint entrance exam. So what has happened today in the country is that judging from the numbers, we feel that the central government is abdicating its responsibility for ensuring that that quality education reaches, or rather percolates down to the lowest levels of society. So what has happened as a consequence of this is that we see that there's been an increasing shift, especially the middle class, from government-funded education to private-funded education, and in particular, the trend of coaching is very worrying. And I'm sure, most of you have heard of these sordid stories and horrible stories of students committing suicide in Kota. I think there was a movie also that was made recently. So what we feel is that, judging from the numbers, if you were to interpret the numbers, we see that that the central government is slowly, or rather maybe deliberately abdicating its responsibility of ensuring that that education reaches right down, or it goes down right down to the lowest spectrum of society.